A very good afternoon to Flex, Dan Bardell and Dave Reed, and to all of you watching on the Sky Sports News YouTube channel. And we are going to kick off with Arsenal today. Waiting to speak to us is our reporter, Gary Cottrell, who is at Arsenal's training ground for us. Gary, you're set to speak to Mikel Arteta later. Lots of reports in today's newspapers suggesting they may bring in a left-back this month. Is this an area that they really need to strengthen?
Yeah, sloppy was the word that Mikel Arteta used after that West Ham defeat. Sloppy in defence, he said, and wasteful up top. I'm sure we'll talk up top in a moment, but in terms of defence, after that West Ham game, concerns from Mikel Arteta, concerns from the fans. And then 4 days later, of course, another defeat, the second Premier League defeat in 4 days at Fulham, and things got worse because Zinchenko, who did actually look out of form in that West Ham game, didn't play very well at all, picked up an injury. We're told it's a calf injury, a slight calf problem is the way the club put it, and couldn't start at Craven Cottage. So in come Jacob Kiwior to take his role on the left-hand side. He didn't impress, to be fair. He's not, of course, a natural left-back. He's versatile, but it didn't really work on Sunday, so he was replaced at half-time by Tomiyasu. Again, a versatile player, did a better job, and of course Tomiyasu, just back from injury, is now gone to the Asia Cup. And so they are short, certainly in the left-back area, particularly if Zinchenko isn't fit yet. And of course, it's the FA Cup at the weekend, and then potentially, if there's no FA Cup replay, a bit of a break for Zinchenko to get fit again and maybe have a bit of a rest and be ready to go again. They have got Jurrien Timber, of course, again, versatile, could do a job there, but it would be like a new signing when he comes back. The problem with that is we just don't know when he's going to be fit. It doesn't look like it's going to be this month now. It doesn't look like potentially it might even be next month. And of course that's going to be then, in that case, March before he's back. So they might need to do something in the meantime. Kieran Tierney, of course, is currently on loan at Real Sociedad. Would they take the option to bring him back if they can? Not sure whether they can or whether they would want to, but all considerations for Mikel Arteta and Edu.
Gary, thank you very much. So Gary Cottrell speaking live at Arsenal's training ground there, saying he doesn't expect there to be many players leaving the club. In terms of incomings, Dave, what do you think top priority is for Mikel Arteta?
Well, not sure about incomings, but top priority is beating Liverpool this weekend in the FA Cup.
This is a transfer show.
I know. They just want to stop this mini slump. They just want to stop this mini slump, don't they, Arsenal? Because if they don't beat Liverpool, then the narrative will continue to ramp up a little bit that Arsenal are in need of a striker, particularly if they don't score at the weekend as well. You know, open play goals have been hard to come by. Gary mentioned it there, that they don't have a particularly natural number 9 when it comes to Gabriel Jesus. But
so Arsenal, need a striker, do you think?
Arsenal fans and the Arsenal as a club love Eddie Nketiah. You know, he is better when he's starting games, I think, rather than coming off the bench. Maybe it's time to try and get him a little bit of rhythm and start him for Arsenal. But a strike, I personally don't think it's crisis time if Arsenal don't get a striker in this January transfer window. 5 points off the top. You know, they're in a no-win in 3 games, but I don't think it's going to be a problem if they get to the end of this January window and they haven't brought in a striker, because I think there's answers within the squad. And yes, Saka, Martinelli, maybe they're not quite hitting that form at the moment, but it's not to say that one game can change everything for these players and they'll start hitting the back of the net sooner rather than later.
They were the 3rd biggest spenders last January. Do you think it's unlikely we'll see a repeat of that? Mainly because they're in a much better position now, aren't they, than they were last January?
Yeah, they did a lot of business in the summer, didn't they? They got their squad to a more complete place, and the players that are there as well, they'll have learnt a lot from last year. Yes, they have fallen away in the last 3 games, but I'd still expect them to be right up in the mix when the season's coming towards an end. So, like Dave says, I don't think there's a need for massive surgery within this squad. And it sounds boring, but we keep saying about the profit and sustainability rules. Arsenal did spend a lot of money in the summer, and also look, you can see there they spent £59 million last January. Maybe didn't get their first choice players last January, but then found the opportunities and got players with Premier League experience in Trossard and Jorginho. And I remember when they were battling for the title at that point and were neck and neck with Man City, those players came in and made important key contributions. It might be that they look at the low market at this stage, but I'm with Dave. I don't see that they can go and spend huge money on the striker that maybe some Arsenal fans crave. And I also agree with Dave that I do think there's answers within that squad.